Going on, Jerome's? Your Minnesota Vikings are 9-2. What to do? Riding a 4-game winning streak in no-loss November, and of course, this was supposed to be a down rebuilding season. Just sow the seeds so that the plants may grow in the future. Take the dead cap hits on the chin. You moved on from Kurt. You moved on from Daniil. Let's just field a competitive team, and if things go well, we'll go 8-9. But to all the haters and the losers, right? So the Vikings are in the thick, THICC, thicker than oatmeal in the NFC. But question is, are the Vikings legitimate Super Bowl contenders, especially when you have the juggernaut Lions in conference, as well as, I don't know, the Eagles looking pretty good at this moment in time too, right? But of course, with Justin friggin' Jefferson, the number one decoy in the league, as well as Slinging Sam Darnold, aka America's quarterback, playing out of his gourd the last couple games. Anything's possible, man, as well as that defense. I mean, they sort of had whatever second half against Chicago, but they shall rise again. The number one defense in the league in terms of pass rush. I mean, that is a great equalizer. So you can see why the Vikings have the pieces but they have to find the right combination, right? And the Vikings have to crest at the right time. And you feel like that. Could they be contenders? Sure. Have lower seeds gotten hot at the right time and done the damn thing? Yes. Do the Vikings still have a chance to chase down the Lions for the 1 seed? Well, the Lions got to take a couple of tumbles, which we'll certainly take. But as of right now, the Vikings are they'll probably end up the winningest wild card in NFL history. Like, they're going to be a 14-15 win wild card, and that's just redonkulous. But that's the rules that we play by, and that's perfectly fine. But the Vikings right now, if the playoffs open, they would be on the road in Hotlanta against Kirk Cousins, who they'll play in the regular season at US Bank Stadium in a couple weeks, which will be interesting. But either way, the Vikings are doing business. And long story longer, over The Athletic, Mike Jones, Ted Wynn, my countryman, as well as Dan Pompei, did up a piece. NFL Week 12 takeaways is blah, 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 blah. And the question for the Vikings is, that's 4 straight wins for the Vikes with 4 of their final 6 games at home. We asked this question earlier in the season, but would you put this team in the Super Bowl contender category? Dan Pompei. The Vikings are absolutely Super Bowl contenders. Dan Pompei, Volcano, my man. Despite how close they came to losing to the Bears Sunday, it's one way to look at it. They are as well coached as any team, and their defense is legit. That's a good combination. The only NFC team clearly better than Minnesota is the Detroit Lions, and the Lions aren't that much better. Ooh. Yeah. 2 points separated the teams when they met in Minnesota in October. The Vikings also have beaten the Packers and 49ers, both NFC contenders. Well, Niners maybe not so much anymore. Assuming their season continues to unfold the way it has, the Vikings will have an opportunity to set the tone for the postseason when they play in Detroit. Say Detroit, man, Super Bowl to finish the regular season. Dan Pompei, speaking truth to power. That's right. Then you got Mike Jones. Good team, yes. Playoff team, most definitely Super Bowl contender. Nah, Michael Jones, you're killing me. They aren't on the same level as NFC North rival Detroit. Oh, I was kind of told that, hey, if the Vikings pick up that first down, they beat the Lions. Anyways, where were we? And the Vikings will probably have a hard time beating Philadelphia. Please, maybe. I don't know. He played better. He played better on Sunday, but Sam Darnold has come back down to earth a bit. What do you mean he played better? He had the worst game of his season against the Jaguars, and then he's reeled off 2 of his best games in the NFL in consecutive weeks. And Sunday may have been his best game, the way he contorted himself at the end. I mean, Sam Darnold's the truth right now, man. And he still don't want to put a lot on his shoulders. I mean, the Vikings offense was on his shoulders in the second half, man. I don't know what game you saw. That's not the mark of a Super Bowl contender. Here's the thing about Sam Darnold. He does have the ability to absolutely catch fire, and Kevin O'Connell's going to let him effing sling it, right? And I honestly think that Darnold could be like 2012 Joe Flacco, where Flacco, who's also in a contract year and was backo with the Ravens, after he just completely heated up in the playoffs. Do I think that Darnold could do that? Yes. I think with the weapons and the way that Darnold has really settled into this offense and the trust that he's built up with Kevin O'Connell and also the fearlessness that both of them have, I mean, no risk it, no biscuit, baby. That's right. Although I do want him to take care of the football. It's an oxymoron, and maybe a little bit hypocritical, but also I don't care. Minnesota's defense isn't consistently dominant. The unit has bright spots and can cause problems for a lot of teams, but also has some costly breakdowns. They allowed Caleb Williams to throw for 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. I mean, a lot of that was in garbage. Well, not really garbage time, but you know what I mean. They didn't have an answer for Jared Goff earlier this season. The road to the Super Bowl looks like it'll go through Detroit. Not great for Minnesota. Whatever. And then Ted Wynn, a countryman or continentman. I'm not sure if I call them Super Bowl contenders. In the last 3 weeks, their defense was suffocating against Joe Flacco. Elite Joe Flacco, Mac Jones, former first-round pick, and Will Levis. 3 quarterbacks who struggle against pressure. I don't know. Will Levis looked pretty good against the Texans, aside from the pick 6. This week, the Bears scored 27 points on them. Offensively, they're explosive, but it's hard to trust Darnold in a game when more is on his shoulders. The entire game was on his shoulders against the Bears on the road against the top 7 defense, and he came out aight. Come on, man. If things go according to script and the defense plays well, they can certainly win a playoff game or 2, but at some point, Darnold will have to win a game for them in the playoffs. I don't have faith in him to do that yet. They're a talented and well-coached team, but the defense can be exposed against teams that sort out the Vikings' pressures, which is kind of fair. But why the Vikings are contenders right now. Quarterback playing at a high level. I don't care what Jones and Ted said. I mean, slinging Sam Darnold, that was his finest performance in purple, maybe in the NFL on Sunday. Still really damn impressed. By the way, he didn't force things to Jefferson, and some of the dimes that he dropped, just glorious. Also, you do have the best wide receiver in the NFL who has a gravitational pull that makes everything else easy for everyone. Tier weapons all over the place otherwise in Addison, Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones. You got the best pass rush in the NFL. Can the defense get got if they stop the pass rush? Yes. But also, Flores has a bottomless bag of tricks, and we'll be fine there. Took the Lions down to the wire. Don't want to talk about that game. I mean, everyone acts like the Lions blew out the Vikings by 2 points. Cool. Confidence in a rebuilding year. Remember, this was supposed to be a down season for the Vikings, but you have a young core. Your defense is solid at its core, as well as supplemented by a couple of older veterans. But I mean, there certainly is confidence on this team. Plus, they're finding a way to win close games. And believe me, hear me now, believe me later. Like, this will matter, because guess what? You don't win playoff games 52-6. Sorry, it just doesn't happen. So what happens when you get in a slugfest and the game gets tight, right? And the Vikings are going to have a ton of experience in that regard. Also, Super Bowl coaching experience, where you could say it's trivial that Kevin O'Connell was OC of the Rams in 2021 when they won the Super Bowl, and Flores obviously was on staff for the Patriots for a number of those Super Bowl wins, including DC in 2018. So everything is there. Like, everything is there, and all the hallmarks are there, and all of the traits are there. Like, the Vikings have everything that you would want. Hopefully, health. They get back on the right side of that. But, I mean, overall, what's not to like, right? You got great coaches. You have a defense that is super opportunistic and can be shut down. You have the best wide receiver in the game, and you have a quarterback who potentially is playing over his skis right now. And I'm not saying, I'm just saying, right? And don't get me wrong, the Lions will be tough. The Eagles will be tough. But, hey, say bring it. Just bring it on. Do I think the Vikings win a playoff game? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I think the Vikings have a free roll? Because given the expectations coming into the year, and also because no one expected anything from Sam Darnold, yes, I think the Vikings are absolutely playing with house money. They have nothing to lose, and that makes them a very, very dangerous football team. So I'm hyped, man. I'm in. But your thoughts are thoughts. Are the Vikings legitimate Super Bowl contenders? Maybe. Yes. Let us know your thoughts. Our thoughts, comment section. You know what to do. Skull production value.